Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today we're going to be looking at something a bit special. These are the P1Sim Mistral pedals. Now P1Sim are a French company founded in 2021 by two brothers who are both race engineers, and their idea is to give us, the consumer, the most authentic driving experience on a virtual racetrack. Now I saw these pedals at the Sim Racing Expo in Dortmund in October, but unfortunately I didn't get to try them. The queues were absolutely huge, really busy booth, and having tried these for a few weeks, that's not surprising. Now, there's a few reasons why these pedals are a bit special, but the main reason is that they've got haptics in both the accelerator and the brake. Essentially, butt kickers in your feet. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But before we delve further into the video, the necessary disclaimer. P1Sim sent me these pedals for free, so I didn't pay for them, although they don't get to see this video before you do, and they've got no input at all in relation to what I say. And as usual, I will say that this isn't a review as such. I'm not a product reviewer. I'm a sim racer, exactly the same as you. You know what I'm all about. So that's the opinion that you're going to get, a sim racer. Now that leads me on to my next point. When testing a set of pedals, I think it's crucial that you race them how you normally would race. I could just jump in the simulator, hot lap, hit my braking markers to my heart's content. But you don't know how good or bad a pedal set is until you race them. And over the last few weeks, I've raced a variety of different cars, purposely choosing cars which are notoriously difficult to drive and ones that don't have ABS, TC, so the pedals really matter. So let's give you some more information about the pedals. So these are made from aluminium, anodized in whatever color you choose when you buy them from the website. Carbon fiber foot plates, and as you can see here, carbon fiber heel rests. And the base plate is made from stainless steel. Now the pedals have a 16-bit USB controller, but that's built into the brake pedal, nice and clean. So the accelerator and clutch both plug into the brake, and the brake plugs in one USB to the PC. And the haptic motors are stored in the pedal at the top behind the foot plate. And it looks like the pedals use sealed ball bearings for the pivot points. Zero maintenance. Adjustment wise, really easy, no tools required. You adjust the main rod at the back of the pedal. That gives you your pedal angle. There's a thumb adjuster at the front to adjust pedal travel. And you've obviously got adjustments with the spring on the accelerator and the dampers on the brake pedal. Now there is a hydraulic version of the brake pedal, but we haven't got that one to test, unfortunately. So we're just looking at the regular elastomer type brake. Now the accelerator and clutch both have Hall sensors to determine position, but the brake has a Hall sensor and a 200 kilo load cell. And to put that into some kind of context, I like to brake quite hard in the simulator, and I was only using 70 kilos. So you've got another 130 kilos adjustment if you want it. So firstly, let's talk about looks. And I don't know about you, but I think these look absolutely amazing. Now I love that industrial look, the stainless steel, really hard, rugged look, but I like it when a pedal set looks a little bit fancy, which these do. And I think they look incredible in white. And as I mentioned, the haptics are stored inside the pedal, and you can't see them on these. The pedal is curved at the top, really nice. I tested the Conspit pedals, and you can actually see the haptics moving when you brake. This you can't. It's all hidden, tucked away inside the pedal, which gives it a really clean look. So in my opinion, these pedals look amazing, and they wouldn't look out of place on any rig anywhere in the world. The carbon fiber heel plates, I think, look brilliant. My other half, Julie, didn't really like them, so it's probably going to divide opinion. I really like them, although I wouldn't recommend them if you're going to buy a 3-pedal set. I found it a bit awkward moving my left foot from the brake back, trying to get my heel in the correct position. 2-pedal set, I think it would be really good, but if you're going to buy a 3-pedal set, I would just go with the regular heel plate that's included. And that's fine, but the carbon fiber heel plates look really fancy. So we'll touch on build quality now. Amazing, really good, although the clutch was a little bit noisy, a little bit squeaky, and I probably could dial that out just by turning the spring maybe a quarter turn. With any sim racing pedals, if you've got a spring, over time they do start to squeak, and that can normally be dialed out by just turning the spring 90 degrees. So I'll probably do that. Apart from that, unbelievable. There's not a mark on them. They're absolutely perfect. Everything's tight, nothing loose. I can't fault build quality at all. But before we talk about performance, let's have a look at the software, which at first I thought was a little bit strange to have it where it is, but it actually makes sense. Now, the first thing we need to do is download the software for the pedals. Now, one main thing to note is to use these pedals, you need to have SimHub software running on your computer. I will explain why in a moment, but firstly, find the download section and then download the P1Sim Control Center.exe for pedals. When you've done that, just run the file, install it on your computer. Now, as I mentioned, you need to use SimHub to use these pedals. Now, this is a free piece of software. However, you can pay a few quid, get a license, and you will get a lot more features. Well worth it, in my opinion, and it supports the developer. Now, if you've installed the software for the pedals, when you open up SimHub, it will ask you if you want to install the P1Sim Control Center plugin. Say yes and add it to the menu on the left, and you can see that it is there. Now, in the manual for the pedals, it tells you exactly what you need to do in SimHub. I will just find that here now. So it gives you all of the instructions which you need to do. Just follow these. Really, really straightforward. When you've done that, you can then go back into SimHub and start configuring your pedals. So we'll click on P1Sim Control Center. And here it just looks like any other piece of software. So if I press the accelerator, you will see that it moves on the screen. Same with the brake, same with the clutch. Here we can go on to calibration. We're on that now, and you can calibrate your pedals. Mapping, you can set your curves if you want, or you can have them completely linear like mine are now. Now, profiles, this is where you can save and load your individual profiles. I've just got one there. And motors, this is grayed out at the moment because we're actually using SimHub to control the haptic motors on the pedals. And you find that in Shake It Motors. Now, if we click that, you can click Motors Output. Now, by default, this won't be ticked. This is what we want, the Arduino motors and fans. So make sure that that is enabled, and we can drop this down, and we can see here what actually is going to be controlled with the software regarding the haptics. Now, this uses channel 1 and channel 2. Now, the best way to test it is just put your feet on the pedals and press one of these, and then you can feel which one is which. Channel 2 is the brake, and channel 1 is the accelerator. I can feel that vibrating through the pedals. Now, this is where you can set what you want to be felt through the pedals, whether you want it on the brake, on the accelerator, on both, etc., etc. But if we're going to effects profile, this is where you can actually select what you want to feel. Now, I don't have all of them installed. I have road impacts, road rumble. So if I go over the curbs, I can actually feel it. The gear shift, a small little vibration when I change shifter. ABS is quite nice. So when I activate the ABS in iRacing, I do get some feedback through the pedal. And that's pretty much it. There are some that aren't actually available within iRacing, which is what I've been using these pedals on. But if you wanted to, you can go in any one of these and just configure it until your heart is content. But the instructions on the P1Sim downloads are absolutely perfect. Just follow these steps. They're in French and in English. Just follow these steps and you will be good to go in no time. So all of the software is in SimHub. And as I mentioned, I think it makes sense to have everything in one place. You calibrate the pedals just like you would in another piece of software. It's just incorporated into SimHub. And that's the first time I've actually seen a pedal set being configured and set up within SimHub. I didn't even know it could be done. So we'll talk about the haptics. The haptics were really easy to set up within SimHub, and you can have it as strong or as weak as you like. Now, I had ABS turned right up, so whenever I activated the ABS in iRacing, I got a vibration through the pedal. And I also had the curb strikes, track textures enabled, but I had those turned down, so that was quite subtle. You just get a bit of tactile feedback through the pedals as to what the car's doing when you go over the curbs. But I thought the ABS activation was really useful. Whenever I felt that vibration, I was able just to bleed off the brake a little bit. And that's all I really used, if I'm being honest. I just used the textures from the road and the curbs just to give me that vibration, just to give me some feedback, and also the ABS. And I thought it worked really well. I did test the pedals for about 2 weeks before activating the haptics. I wanted to get a feel for the pedals themselves, not be overwhelmed. And it could easily get overwhelming if you put all of the information on SimHub, turn it up to 100, you won't know what's going on, and you'll just feel a rumble through the pedals. In my opinion, with haptics, less is more. But when you do turn it up to 100, it's actually pretty strong. Overall, really well implemented. So moving on from that, we'll talk about how they performed. And I thought they were absolutely exceptional. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, I drove a variety of different cars, purposely choosing ones that are notoriously difficult to drive. And this pedal set was absolutely incredible. I was able to reach threshold braking accurately and consistently and bleed off that brake all the way to the apex, just holding a little bit of pressure just for the trail brake. Really precise brake. Accelerator, super smooth, really smooth. I did have to reduce the travel. Travel was a bit too much for me at the beginning, but I thought the accelerator really smooth, really nice and quiet. The clutch, well, the clutch does what a clutch does, but it does feel quite like a clutch with a bite point. It uses a different mechanism to normal clutches in sim racing. This uses a pulley system, and the spring is actually right on the bottom. So I thought they performed exceptionally. I was able to hold my own as I normally would in a top split race on iRacing. And I was able to get to that point really quickly. The transition period from moving from one set of pedals, which I was using, to this set of pedals was actually quite short. And I didn't have to think about the pedals when I was using them. It felt natural. The only thing that bothered me was the heel plates. As I mentioned, if I was using the clutch, I found it quite cumbersome to move my left foot across to the clutch, then back to the brake, thinking about where my heel was. That would be my only criticism. Now, let's talk about price. So, for the Mistral 2-pedal set, if you're going to buy a 2-pedal set, it's €540 plus VAT. And then obviously any import duty that you have to pay when it enters your country. If you wanted to add the clutch, it's another €207. And if you wanted the base plate, that's another €57. And if you're going to buy 2 carbon heel rests, that's €82. And if you wanted to buy 3, that's €120. So if you wanted to buy what I'm using here, it's going to cost you the best part of about €950 plus VAT. That's expensive. Are they value for money? Well, we've got to be realistic. And essentially, this is a game controller for a computer game. So you need to put things in perspective. If money isn't an issue, then yes, it's worth it. But unfortunately, not everybody is in that position. Now, would I buy this pedal set? Absolutely, 100%. But I would probably only buy the 2-pedal set with the base plate and the 2 carbon heel rests. And that brings the price down to approximately €690 plus VAT. Still really expensive, especially for a 2-pedal set. But if you wanted to buy the clutch, I wouldn't bother at all with the carbon fibre heel plates. So whichever way you look at it, they are expensive, but they are a little bit different on the flip side. They've got haptics. Not many pedals have haptics. And there's no pedals that I can think of that look this good that have these features. So we'll just summarise then. Firstly, looks, in my opinion, that's obviously subjective. I think they look absolutely incredible. Build quality, absolutely brilliant. Apart from the clutch, which made a few noises. Like I mentioned, that could probably be dialed out by just turning the spring, maybe a little bit of lubrication. I don't know. But that was just a little bit too noisy for my liking. Performance, I thought they were absolutely exceptional. And right up there with some of the best pedal sets that I've ever tried. And I've been very fortunate to own some really top high-end pedal sets. And these are right up there. Onto value for money. Again, that's subjective. It depends how deep your pockets are. It's a lot of money. You're going to be paying well over €1,000 by the time you pay for shipping for a 3-pedal set with the heel plates, base plate, etc., just like the ones I have here. But if you wanted a really good pedal set, reduce the price, get rid of the clutch, get rid of the heel plates, that will bring it into the €700 mark, which is a little bit easier to stomach. So I want to say thank you to P1Sim for sending me these out to test and have a look at. I absolutely love them. I will put a link down below in the video description to P1Sim. That's not an affiliate link. I'm not affiliated in any way. I don't get any kickbacks. So if you buy them, brilliant, you will love them. If you don't, it doesn't really matter to me. I've got no financial gain at all if you buy these pedals. Any questions, fire them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to get them answered. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.